Okay, so I'm going to try something a little different here. What I want to do is I'm just going to review a handful of comics really quickly. Now, before you get in here and say, oh, he's leaving out a bunch of context, a bunch of other kind of detailed parts of it, you're absolutely right. This is all the reviews are under 2 minutes. They're really quick. It's just a quick shot of what's going on with a number of comics that just came out in the last week. So, it may be your thing, maybe not. Let me know in the comments below. We can do more or we can do less or whatever, but this is just a quick little peek. Absolutely, there's nuance and depth to these books that won't be covered here. So, that's what Reddit is for. Am I right? Anyway, just trying to respond a little bit to the why don't people talk about comics anymore? So in this video, we're talking about comics. So, and by the way, we won't do K-pop at the end. So spoilers, but my daughter's been asking stuff, so we're going to put some clips she wants at the end. So that's everybody's getting something. Anyway, here we go. Okay, so Ultimates number 10. This is one that feels like it's kind of taken a break from the main series, and it's almost kind of the problem. I mean, there's a sequence in this comic where Captain America's like, I used to go kill some Nazis, now I'm ready to go kill some more Nazis. So they found Castletown, which is this big kind of encampment. It's got a bunch of the Red Skulls, which are a neo-Nazi movement. It's a little bit unclear what the neo-Nazis are. The recording over is that they were people who were inspired by Frank Castle back in the 70s. So they've adapted his kind of skull, imagery all over everything, and they're wandering around. It's a red Punisher skull. But other than just kind of wandering around with bandanas and vests, it's not entirely clear what these people are doing. We're saying it's the Red Skull movement, which, and the voiceover there is they're racist and bad. Anyway, in this comic, Tony's like, hey, we really should be focusing on the important stuff. This Maker guy is going to come back and basically enslave the entire world and everything else. The Red Skulls are not a priority. And Captain America's like, Nazis are always a priority. And so that's what this issue is. It's going to take care of all that. The big surprise or the reveal in this comic is when they finally storm the kind of inner sanctum of the Red Skull thing. You've got the Submariner Namor, and he's mounted up with a bunch of fish. He's dead. And we get to meet the new Red Skull, who is the leader of all these, this Red Skull movement. So then you get a bunch of scenes of the Ultimates basically just destroying everything. You get a really gross one of Ant-Man. Looks like he's vomiting out of somebody's mouth, having punched their way through his skull. So there's some real murder in this one. We finally get to meet John Walker, who's been injected with the super soldier serum, and Jim Hammond, the Torch, basically burns the guy's face off and kills him. Red Skull gets away. We get the final little reveal that the Red Skull is basically Bucky. So it's this is how they're going to do the Winter Soldier here, since the Winter Soldier is Wolverine. Anyway, this comic feels like it's at the very end we get the little clip of 8 months remaining, and so it's I guess it's an adventure where we wanted to put the Punisher logo on some Nazis. That's what we got here. Okay, so next kind of quick review is Secret Six. So this is number 1. It came out, it's Nicole Main's, Steven Scovia. And basically this issue is setting up the rest of the series. So most of it features around Superboy and Jay Nakamura, a little bit of material with Dreamer. But the construct of the whole thing is that Amanda Waller has escaped Belle Reve. Now, you had to kind of read Absolute Power to make sense of everything that's going on here. But in Absolute Power, Amanda Waller took on kind of new heights of power, tried to take over the world, defeat all the superheroes, kind of all those things. She used a brainwashed Superboy to do it via alliance with the Brainiac Queen. Look, I could, there's just too much. I could go on and on about what all backstory there is here. But what you need to know coming into this is Superboy and Jay Nakamura are dating. They're getting ready to move to San Francisco because, of course, they are. And they are drug into an uneasy alliance with Dreamer, who's telling them that Amanda Waller has escaped from prison. Jay Nakamura is going through various forms of angry PTSD, and they're having little lover spat between himself and Superboy. And that's really what this issue is. It's a lot of that. They eventually wander into to Belle Reve. They meet up with Black Alice. They're skirting the law clearly, and that they're not supposed to be in there, but they go in anyway because Jay is just determined to see what's going on. Dreamer and Black Alice argue for a little bit. Ultimately, guards show up, fire a bunch of syringes at them. They escape kind of last second very quickly and pop into somewhere, a secret house in Vermont where Catman and Deadshot are there, and then that's the end of the issue. So it's basically setting up the team. There's not a lot in here beyond just this setup, and they really want you to know that Jay Nakamura is not okay. He's angry and he's pissed off, and Superboy is trying to figure out kind of what's going on with all of that, and Dreamer's having bad dreams. So there you go. That's Secret Six. Okay, Hyde Street. Hyde Street number 4. If you've been watching this channel, you know I like this series. I still like it. It is a great series. This one is all about the matinee monster. It's the backstory of of this guy who was an actor. He was very tall, named Oscar, and he's basically getting typecast in these movies. He believes he's got a lot of art and a lot of soul, a lot of training. He can do a lot, but they kind of cast him in these crappy movies. They're casting him at this time in a movie called Abbott and Costello Meets Frankenstein's Brother, which is, a bad B movie. Anyway, the comic is about exploring how much he hates it. Ultimately, he gets jealous of another guy who's tall like him. He thinks he's getting replaced. Turns out it was just a stand-in. But he murders him somewhat by accident, but all the same murders him. This pushes him to Hyde Street, where he refuses to do the bidding of kind of this mysterious overseer. So he won't actually deliver the souls in. And he's just kind of resisting the contract he signed. And so this overseer, basically bashes him, nails his eyes shut with this cloth over his head, and that's he took pride that you could see the acting through my eyes. Anyway, so now the storyline is that he basically haunts Hyde Street, and he refuses to deliver souls, and he's also kind of working against this overseer's plans. He's got the Butcher of Hyde Street locked up in his basement there. Again, this is a good series. It's the art is beautiful. The comic is paced well. I do love it very much. It is it's issue number 4 now, and you look at issue number 5. We're getting kind of another one of the characters. It's feeling a little bit too much like an anthology of introducing the various people on this street, and there needs to be a little bit more of the and where's it all going, because we're introducing a lot of colorful characters, and we're doing it really, really well. But all the same, it does need to, at some point, start kicking into, and here's how they're going to collide into each other, and here's what's going to happen. You're seeing hints of that here, so it will get there. And again, this is a perfectly fun, good series to watch. But other than introducing us to some really kind of well thought out, interesting, well-drawn characters, we want them to start doing more. So anyway, good series, so I'd recommend it. Okay, so Shazam 21, and this is the final issue of the series, which I think caught people by surprise. I don't know if it was announced that this was the end. I missed it, but it's the end. So in this comic, they're basically wrapping up everything really rapidly. So Josie Campbell on this, Dan McDade, and doing the art. And basically in this issue, it's the culmination of a bunch of the different series. Mr. Mind is back, and he's working with Georgina Savannah. And they've got basically the whole city and the people under it kind of under control. They've also revealed the traitor, who's Bo, who's a bitch instead of somebody who actually cared about Billy. So womp womp. But anyway, they basically wrap everything up with a lot of the "we were tricking you" kind of things. The action is, it's decent. The art looks good. By and large, they restore the city. They, have another sequence around the importance of family, which is what Shazam always kind of seems to do. But this comic, they don't wrap up all the villains. They're either still out there, or it's unclear if they were arrested or not. Maybe we're just meant to assume they were. But it ends with Hugs. The family is important, scrapbooking, and everything else. And and again, the villains are running loose. The literally the last page of before we get to the kind of family recap stuff is Georgina Savannah is basically grabbing the Mr. Mind and escaping off with Bo, and they're off to go plot more evil. She says, in fact, I have plans for all of you. So anyway, and then we get to the recap of the family. it's not a bad issue. It just it does feel like somebody tapped Josie Campbell on the shoulder and be like, "Well, we're done," and that's kind of what we got here. But still, lots of action. They make a decent effort to try and clean the whole thing up. Okay, quick next issue, Poison Ivy number 31. Now, what's striking about this is G. Willow Wilson's basically been on a comic for 31 issues in a run. I mean, this is approaching year 3 at this point. So I mean, no, sorry, we're in year 3. It's approaching year 4, and that's just pretty amazing in any event. Anyway, this issue is a tough one because it really doesn't advance anything in the story around. It's basically kind of reminding you about all the different pieces that are in play. We've got Poison Ivy, and we have her thruple-like relationship with Janet. Both are hiding things from each other to some extent. Janet maybe more. They both made alliances with members of the Green and the Swamp, but they're not necessarily telling each other about it. The big part of this issue is to get you to the next issue. So Ivy goes and connects with Peter Undine. He's the one with the flower kind of face, and she's trying to figure out the secrets of Mashview in Slaughter Swamp. This was back, I believe, this was a fallout of that. The comics where Gotham was no man's land, where it basically imploded. I may be wrong about that, but I believe that's where this first kind of got things going. But anyway, they tried to make a town, and it didn't work. And so, the swamp basically murdered everything off in this little town, except Ed Cooper. Now, Ed Cooper has been transformed into a weird-ass monster that's been stalking Janet, presumably because of kind of the different alliances that have been made. Visually, it looks cool. It's all fun, but this character, this new villain that we're going to be facing for a few issues, I guess, Ed Cooper, has no real backstory. He's literally introduced in this issue, and so it's really just moving some things forward in order to get us to the next comic, and that's what it is. It looks cool for sure, but it's we're spinning wheels a bit in the series at this point. Okay, so Wolverine Revenge number 4. This was the highly anticipated return of Greg Capullo to the Marvel Universe. Jonathan Hickman doing the writing. It's a little bit unclear what this comic is meant to be, though. In this issue, it's skipping things forward quite a bit, 20 years basically, and we're getting the Old Man Logan version, a more peaceful Logan, a Logan that's not the pacifist that we saw in the Mark Miller run, but basically one that's the world has moved on. We've got a lot of heroes kind of dressed up, a new Captain America, a new Bucky. We've got Forge and Magic and Ultron wearing a cowboy hat and kind of silliness like that. But basically this comic is about Wolverine visiting Sabretooth, of which he cuts off a piece of him every year. Kind of the revenge of Sabretooth visiting him every year. A little bit of X-Men history there that I didn't need to be explored here. Who knows? But anyway, he gives he basically decides not to do it this year, and we get the Omega Clan. So this is the people in Rick Remender's run, if you remember, where they one of them makes you vomit and disease, and there's different. You got Omega Red, Omega White, Omega Black, and the various things that go on there. So you get a pretty nice fight, and this comic in general has been good visuals, but again, it's not entirely clear what the point of it. So Wolverine ultimately dispatches all those guys, and it's over. Sabretooth is watching the fight from a TV and turns to see the son of Colossus is standing there getting ready to get revenge on Wolverine. So Wolverine Revenge has been Wolverine getting revenge, and now it's the son of Colossus getting revenge on Wolverine for the actions of the third issue. But that's what we've got. It's pretty to look at. This comic, I don't know what it's supposed to be doing, but it's nice. If you want to see an older Wolverine with a beard in a combination of the yellow and the brown uniforms, slicing up various members of the Omega Clan from Remender's run, then this comic has got you covered, because that's basically what it does. Anyway, there you have it. So what was that, 5 issues, 6 issues? I don't know what I did. Anyway, hope you enjoy that, and we'll do more of those if you like. All right, thanks for listening.
Cha-la-la-la-la, go for it too. The fish ring sit down, good for you too. Pork the girl.